There we go. How about now? Every time you update, everything goes crazy. So, there we go. Okay. Every time you update, everything goes crazy. So, there we go. Okay. Every time you update, everything goes crazy. Okay. Oh, thanks. Okay. I've got an echo situation here. Let me see if I can get that squashed. Okay, here we go. Technical stuff aside, for those of you that may be just joining us, I need your help. I was just, it's no secret that we're having an issue downtown with dorm developments, right? We had Britton Bostick here in the studio last week, and we were talking about these developments, these high-density housing developments, which are just, these developers know how to pull the wool over your eyes, man. They totally do. They know that if they call it mixed-use multifamily, that you're going to go, housing is good. All housing is good, right? Anything that's called housing is good. That's wrong. When every dime store asshole that gets their, Webster University online economist degree from like subscribing to Fox News and MSNBC and having a Robinhood account goes, I understand supply and demand, therefore I know how economies work. Supply and demand. And of course, they don't know anything about how to reach equilibrium and how those laws of supply and demand can be affected by factors of production and, be it elastic goods, non-elastic goods, luxury goods, whatever. You're just drilling it down to two words that you saw on, fucking Jim Cramer. And you're thinking if more supply equals enters the market, then therefore demand goes lower, therefore prices go lower. That's not how supply and demand works. My easiest analogy here is if you make a whole bunch of Rolexes and yachts, does that just mean that the prices of Rolexes and yachts go down? No, they're still luxury goods, right? Tesla Cybertrucks have not gone down in price despite the fact that there's literally thousands of them sitting unused in lots because they're luxury goods, right? We're not going to sacrifice the margin of luxury goods just because demand is low. That's how luxury goods work. And when you're building luxury housing for very specific groups of people, then the price will never go down despite how high the supply goes, because they're luxury goods. Okay, so let's just get that out there. Supply and demand. It works if you understand how it works. But I was just, I haven't been home yet today, so I'm going to show you guys this right here that my neighbor sent me, and she was like, hey, can you explain this? She's like, what does this mean? And you can see right here, it's from McClellan Consulting Engineers. They are a local engineering-based firm, and they are doing an engineering consultation for a out-of-state, large-scale student condo developer that's on the 2.68 acres that occupies my home, where I live, my house. This is where I live. Let me show you. I'll show you a map really quick here. If we go over here, we will go boop, and I will pull up this boop, and we've got this right here. Okay, so this is new, even though it's dated February 11th. It took them a while to get it into the hands of everybody. But it's like, hey, check this out. Here's a 200-foot buffer area around the parcels where we plan to bulldoze and build another dorm. I live right here. This is where I live. And another bunch of non-students that all live happily for a very long time, they live right here. The guy that runs Wes's Barbecue lives right here. A couple of the employees from Giraldi's live right here. Giraldi's is right there. A lot of non-student residents live right here, and this is the old Art Ventures house. This is the old historic house. This right here is going to be a dorm. They want it to be a dorm, and they're like, we're going to let everybody know in a 200-foot radius that this is going to fucking suck for the next 2 years if we get to have our way. So if you live anywhere near here and take any of these streets, your life is going to be hell. Even though there's currently a huge development right here, which is also a traffic congestion just screw up. Right? So that's all happening right here. But the other thing that's going on is okay, they're like, we've got a planning commission meeting at 5:30 March 24th. They don't actually tell you anything in this notice, hey, you're going to be homeless. Hey, this meeting is about bulldozing your house. Hey, here's a bunch of legalese that you don't understand with a meeting that you probably won't go to because we're not telling you why. An issuance of this letter as a result of the City of Fayetteville mayoral declaration. City Hall is opened again for public hearings, which are still available for online attendance. Online participation instructions can be found. But it doesn't tell you what. It doesn't tell you. It's just we're going to rezone to RMF 40. No big deal. Real people don't know what the absolute fuck this means. And so I had to have somebody that is my neighbor. They sent this to me and said, could you translate this? And I go, yeah, this is them letting you know that they're going to bulldoze our homes. And if you don't know what any of this means, it's just a piece of email that says, oh yeah, here's your notice of 200-foot radius. We're not telling you what we're doing, why we're doing it. We're just required to send out this notice. We don't have to tell you what we're doing, but here's a notice. We did the bare fucking minimum of the requirements on the checklist we just sent out a mailer to say 200-foot radius. And that's acceptable. That's normal. That passes. They did their due diligence, although that letter doesn't tell us shit, right? It doesn't say, prepare to be homeless. Prepare to find a new place to live. Prepare for the 78 people, families, some of them, that aren't students, to find a place to live, right? That's what that letter really means, but nobody knows it, okay? And that's why I'm going live today. And I need your help. I need the person that's just clicking in on this for 5 seconds. You there that just clicked on and said, what's Bo saying? Give me 5 minutes, right? Give me 5 minutes. Matt Bailey says this seems a lot like the beginning of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yes, and none of us have a towel, dude. None of us have our towel. And we're not even given the permission to go get our towel. If Zaphor Beeblebrox came in and would just tell us to go eat a dick instead of get your towel, let's go, right? We don't even get that luxury. We get this convoluted message that's here's a letter. You don't know what it means. Here's a meeting that you won't go to, maybe. You don't know what it's for. Go fuck yourself. But here's where I need your help. I've been working diligently in the background to get some ordinances changed. And that moves at the speed of bureaucracy. We had Britton in here last week, and I was trying to be very, very polite with her position, because there was a lot of things that I wanted to say and I wanted her to say that we said off the camera that I'm going to say now. And it's that there are things that need to be put in front of city council now. And we need to push for them to be in an emergency clause. Hey, Lurk, thanks for the sub. And it's this. One of the things that I'm working on, and I've run it past people like Britton, who was up here last week. I've run it past local developers that work for Specialized that are building apartments for regular people. Some of them are luxury. They're expensive, of course they are, but they are not just for students. And that's the issue I have here. For any of you, and I've already seen a couple of people just tip out of the live. They go, oh, this isn't fun. Sorry, it's not fun. But for those people, what this means is that I'm asking you for your, I'm pulling a Bernie Sanders. I once again ask you for your assistance. And all you got to do, and we're going to do it together. We're going to do this thing right now. We're going to do a city council. You can contact these people, right? Bird lands on desk. So here, let me pull up my command center here again. Boop. There we go. Fayetteville, Arkansas website, cityfayetteville.gov. You can just search for, you just go over here and you say, City Council. And you don't even have to spell it right. And, it pulls up all this stuff, but you can say City Council members. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, man, look at that. City Council members. There's all of them right here. There's just a huge, all of these people. You can go and see who all of our City Council members are. You can look at them all. They're all there. You can email them. City Council. Here's their emails right there. Bob Stafford, Dr. Jones. No time for love anymore, Dr. Jones. Mike Wiedeker, Sarah Moore, all these guys right here. These are your city council members. And if you click on them, check it out. It's really cool. There's an email right there. This is their cell phone number. This is like, you can leave them an actual voicemail, right? Which we all love that, right? We love it when people call our personal cell phones. But you can do it. It's right there. Click. Look, there's Mike. Boom. There's his email. That's his personal email and cell phone. You can hit him up. And what I need you guys to do is I need you guys to contact these people and say, parking minimum regulation needs to happen now. Lurk says, not even from here. It's true. And now I will, a lot of people throw Mike under the bus, and I've done it before too. However, Mike does have a lot of urban development experience under his belt, and the thing about reaching these people is, if you've listened to my podcast that I did with Britton from Long Range Planning last week, these people are not our enemies, right? You can't go around and just make enemies out of everybody and expect things to get done. Everybody has common ground, and you have to learn what the common ground is between these people before you can bridge these gaps. And Mike and I have come to terms, Mike's not an unreasonable guy. He needs facts. He is not driven by passion. He's not driven. If you go up into a city council and go, F you guys don't care about me, he's going to stop listening immediately, right? Wouldn't you? But if you bring this guy facts, if you bring this guy knowledge, if you bring this guy focus, he will listen. And I respect him for that, right? And that's how you have to, the thing about city council and the thing about a lot of politics is you have to learn who your politicians are, who your representatives are, and how to speak to them, because they are people just like you, okay? And what I need you guys to do is I need you to go to these people, and I need you to contact these people, and I need you to say, hey, we need parking reduction requirement reform in our zoning to continue to encourage responsible growth and density while encouraging housing for all. That's about as simple as you can put it in there. Thank you, Melina. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about all council members. I'm talking about our city government, Skylar. I'm talking about everybody that's in our city leadership. And there is something that's been swirling around in the background for the past couple of weeks, and it's the parking reduction minimum. And I'm going to just throw it out there for you guys. I'll tell you, I came up with this idea. It's a Bo Counts original here, because I was looking at the way that we develop high-density real estate in Fayetteville. And everybody's saying zoning. It's a problem with the zoning. So I decided to look at the zoning. And, no problem, Skylar. And Jody might be on board with this too. I was talking to Jeremy from Specialized, and I ran some of these ideas by him because we sit on the same board for the DFC. And I said, Jeremy, I've got some ideas. I don't want to hamstring and nerf developers that are building apartments for young professionals, for single families, for actually residents, right? I don't want to inhibit any of that development. Here's my idea. I was doing a lot of number crunching through the 17 developments that the University of Arkansas has thumbed up as being university approved student housing. And these are student housing developments that are run like dorms, and they're generally leased out as SROs, which means single room occupancy dwellings, right? Which is more often than not 3 and 4 bedroom floor plans that are rented off by the bedroom that have shared kitchens. Because if you're a developer, if you're a contractor, if you're whatever, it's a lot easier to build one kitchen and multiple bedrooms than it is to build like 1 or 2 bedrooms and lots of kitchens and bathrooms, right? Because those require a lot more plumbing, a lot more electrical, a lot more money, and you can't just turn around and rent them all individually by the bedroom for $1,500. You can, however, do that for Texas college students. That's what makes them such juicy, low-hanging fruit, okay? And City of Fayetteville in our downtown area has a parking reduction credit that is granted by right if you meet a very loose criteria of developments to say, okay, well, you get 35% parking reduction by right if you just scrape the fucking surface of building dense downtown. And as Skylar said, we won't get the density we need to grow if we don't encourage less parking. I agree. And here's where I had this idea. And the idea is everybody in the city of Fayetteville is so afraid of getting litigated by big corporate outside money. They're like, well, if it goes against state law, we can't do it. We can't tell people what to do on their property if they're building whatever, even though there's shitloads of legal precedent going back as far as the past 100 fucking years that is all about us telling people what they can and can't build on their property. You can't build strip clubs, can't build fucking adult DVD stores, can't build dispensaries, you can't build liquor stores, can't build bars, there's a lot of things you can't build on your property because we created laws that we realized that was a detriment to the fabric of community. But I don't know why this doesn't apply now, but that's a whole nother conversation because I read fucking history books. Sorry, I'm fired up, and maybe I'll drink more brandy. So I'm gonna just drink on air and educate the shit out of you guys. So here we go. Here was the idea. 2 problems. Let's put the brain on it. How do we encourage growth that we want? How do we discourage growth that we don't want? How do we not get sued by the state? How do we follow state law? But how do we also give incentives to the things that we want to see and shape our downtown community to encourage entrepreneurship and live, work, play? Okay, that's a big problem. The parking reduction is the secret, because the parking reduction is the only thing that we grant as a city. We grew the carrot. We've got it out on a stick. City of Fayetteville made that carrot. We planted it, we put it on the stick, and we held it out there for developers. However, we put that carrot on that stick almost a decade ago before we could even fathom the idea of a 700-bedroom, 8-story development that's geared toward SROs for students. That wasn't even on our fucking map. That's like file sharing back when Napster happened. It was like not even a thing that anybody saw coming, and when it did, all the music industry had to pivot fast. So I was like, okay, well, what if we adjust the way that we grant parking reductions, okay? Because if you say, well, you can't do that because it's against state law, well, then state law, if you want to lean on state law, that's a 1-to-1 parking parity. For every bedroom you make, you have to have an accommodating 1 space for a car, be it a garage, a parking space, a driveway, on-street parking, whatever. 1 bedroom, 1 car. That's the Arkansas UDC, Universal Design Code, I believe is what that stands for. Okay, so we're safe. We've got the carrot. How do we use that carrot to incentivize or de-incentivize the things that we don't want? And I got to thinking about the way that these SROs do their leasing practices. The way that these things slide through the bare minimums is because, yes, asterisk, anyone can live in these student developments. Asterisk, hashtag, quote, parentheses, bracket. Anyone can live there. Anyone can live there, assuming they're willing to be matched up with 3 random roommates. Anyone can live there, assuming they're willing to move out during Christmas break and summer break, and when they move back in, not be guaranteed to live in the exact same room that you moved out of in that semester. You can live there assuming if you have children and one of them reaches the age of 18 during the duration of your family living there, that breaks your lease, and all members of the family have to have individual leases that are now in individual bedrooms that are not guaranteed to be in a similar unit unless you apply for a variance, which you're not guaranteed to have. But you can still live there if you're willing to do all that. That's the leasing practices of these things. And so it got to me thinking, it's like, okay, well, this is reverse discrimination. It reminds me a hell of a lot of, well, these colored people sure could eat in this restaurant if they're willing to go in the back door, if they're willing to go into that bathroom, and if they're willing to be just subjected to humiliation and extremely degrading practices. Of course, no one wants to do that. You're going to go somewhere else, and they know that. And that was legal then, and it's legal now, and it's fucked. Okay? And I'm like, how do we use this against them? How do we do the same thing? Because it's illegal to discriminate on housing. You can't put it into law to say these people can't live here. However, if you create all these crazy rules in your leasing practices to discriminate, that's fine. But you just can't come out and say no families, no people with kids, no people that actually want to live here and not get moved out twice a year. Okay? How do we use this against them? The carrot. We use the carrot with the parking reductions. We giveth, we taketh away. So I did a lot of research on those, 15 or 17 developments that the University of Arkansas thumbs up as student developments. I looked at them. Almost every single one of them have over 250 bedrooms. That's just a norm, right? But I looked at most apartment complexes that are built, and they have 200 or less. And that 200 number seem to be pretty commonplace between the threshold of what becomes a dorm and what becomes 1 and 2 bedroom apartments that normal people can live in, right? So I was like, okay, why is there no rubric which awards these parking reductions? Why don't we create one? Why don't we, because it's our carrot, we say if you want to bite out of this carrot, if your development is under this threshold of 250 or 200 beds, 250 beds, you're good. You're totally set. No problem. 35% parking reduction. You're good. Carry on, soldier. However, if your development is going over 200 beds, we're going to take a look at it. You're going to have to apply for a variance, and we're going to have to look at this rubric to see how much of this award of parking reduction you get. And here's where it gets interesting in the sauce. So my idea is, and people have been running with this, if you're going to be building 4-bedroom shared kitchen floor plans that are SROs, and we all know it, that's minus points. You don't get parking reductions. You need 1-to-1 parking parity if you're going to be building 4-bedroom single kitchen. If you're going to be building 1 and 2 bedroom units that could be retrofittable in the future if we do actually hit an enrollment cliff, which is probably coming in 2033 if you look at the CDC research and the enrollment data that's happened in the past 10 years. But I don't know, nobody fucks with data anymore. If you take into consideration that, and you're like, all right, well, you're going to build 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. Well, you get that parking reduction is a thumbs up. And furthermore, if you're going to do absolute first floor all commercial, boom, even more parking reduction. Right? However, if you're going to do the 700 square feet leasing office to be mixed use commercial, and the rest is just going to be, we're going to sneak through the curtain of parking by doing a bunch of compact and motorcycle parking. No, you don't get the parking reduction. 1-to-1, 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom, you got 1-to-1, 1 and 2 bedroom, build 7 floors. I don't give a shit, but make them 1 and 2 bedrooms so that people can actually live there that aren't students, right? So we can encourage responsible development. So we can encourage apartments and living units that young professionals and families can actually live in if they want to live downtown. I want to live downtown. I know a lot of people that want to live downtown, but I don't want 3 18-year-old roommates. Okay? So that's flying around. There's a lot more nuance and intricacy there, but that's the gist of it. We reward the developments that we want to see with parking reductions, and we don't give the parking reductions to developments that we don't want to see, right? If you're going to build 640 bedrooms on the corner of Block and Dixon, and you're only going to build 400 parking spaces, get the fuck out of here. You're building 4-bedroom, shared bathroom SROs that no one but students can live in. And by the way, they're like, well, downtown is where the students always go. It's party central. Except for students are 18, 19, and 20, so they can't actually go out there unless they're doing it illegally. So no, they can't. Idiots. You know, think about it. A lot of those people, well, I party all the time. You partied at house parties. That's what they're doing too. They're not adding to the downtown economy. They're taking away from it, and it's been proven. So what we need to do here is we all need to, Melina, here's the deal. You say just stop building on Dixon and Block Street. Shout out to Will Brand, by the way. Stop building on Dixon and Block. And here's the problem is it goes back to zoning and code, right? Lurk said I had to park at the post office when I worked on Dixon. And that post office is all going to be dorm parking now. But here's the deal. The reason that they keep parking or they keep building on Dixon and Block is in our downtown. It's a squarish mile, right? The reason they build there is it's zoned differently. Downtown properties are naturally zoned dense, and they have different zoning regulations that allow large, multi-floor, large density that the rest of the city doesn't have. And because of that, they're kind of forced into building or trying to build downtown because the other wards are locked in and won't budge, right? And so that's another problem that needs to change is we need to allow, because I think having all the students within like 150 yards of campus is a bad move. It wasn't that long ago when students lived all down Weddington and all down Leverett and all down, and were scattered throughout the city and became residents and became part of the fabric that was Fayetteville. And now it's very much like NIMBYism has taken over where they're like, nope, we don't want any students in our neighborhood. Just put them as close to the campus as possible so we don't have to deal with them. And when you wrangle up an entire group of people and put them in a very small confined district, that's never worked. And in fact, it's gone horribly bad a few times, right? You just can't, it's not right. You need to let it breathe. We can't just concentrate all these people into camps. I'll let that soak in for a second. Especially when they're 18, 19, and 20-year-olds and they have no sort of... You're putting them in 8-story developments with no RAs, no police access, that anybody... Like, police are already saying that response times to calls... We did a Freedom of Information Act that showed that these developments have a significantly higher rate of... I believe D.D. Peters. I might be able to. Give me a second, and I'm gonna pull up some more data because I love my data. Because I actually don't just speak out of my ass like a lot of people in the world. I actually do a shitload of research. Let's see if I can find it. She sent me this. Where was it? Dear Planning Commission. Where did she? I know I got it. Student-centric housing list. Oh, man. I know I do have it. I do have it. FOI. Man, where did she send it to me? I have it. It's an absurd list. And if I wasn't doing a live stream, I would pull it up, but where is this? No, let's do Dixon and Block. Forward student housing. it was crazy. Anyway, it was an insane list. I have it somewhere. I'll pull it up somewhere. No, that's not it either. Anyway, it was thousands, absolute thousands of calls. But the point is when you put all of these children in a unregulated, dense environment, they're still children, right? When you put them in dorms, they have RAs, they have curfews, they have rules. And in these student dorms that are campus thumbs up, they don't have the same rules, right? We need less of these. We need to de-incentivize these. And so going back to the original purpose of this stream, if you're just now tuning in, my apartment complex got a letter that says, hey, here's a meeting that's very mysterious. You can attend if you want. It doesn't really say any. It's just alley right of way at 7 South. You know, we're zoning it. You know, you could come, available for public review. If you want to, can be made. You can make public comment off of this that has no information. Here's the map of the place in question. It illustrates the 200-foot buffer. Notification of a 200-foot buffer. Just letting you know about this buffer. Why do we have a buffer? What's the buffer for? What do we need a meeting for? What is it? Is it bad? Is it good? Is this just a thing? Do we need to? What they left out is, hey, everybody that got this letter, you're going to be homeless pretty soon unless you go to this meeting. They left that part out. And they left that part out on purpose. And that's a part of my problem here. March 24th. Put it on your calendar. And before March 24th, I'm going to go back to this tab here. And I want you guys. Yeah, DJ Morrow, what's a buffer? Is it anything to do with easement? What it is, what I'm figuring out is it's a 200-foot buffer around the acreage that they plan on demolishing and building a dorm, to let those people know that there is going to be a pretty much sucky disposition 200 feet around of this. So just letting you know, your life is going to suck for about a year if you're in this 200-foot buffer, right? But again, like you said, what's that buffer mean? They're not telling you what this is. This is an extreme lack of information that is intentional because they don't want you to get pissed. They don't want you to get fired up. They don't want you to be drinking brandy on your live stream, trying to drum up, people in the community to be like, hey, this is freaking bad, man. But what you need to do... Vince says, I've never seen a council page with the term limit date that is so front and center. Oh, yeah, I know, right? But here, I mean, we need to go back here. These are our city council members. You can just go to the Fayetteville, Arkansas, right here. In fact, I'm going to just drop it over here in the comments. Boop. Right there. Now you don't have any excuse for having to type it in. Oh, DJ Merrill, it's disruption to your life in many ways, I imagine. Well, if you're me, you're right there in ground zero, which means your house is getting bulldozed. And this is how they tell you. They don't tell you. They put a letter in your inbox that says like buffer. It doesn't tell you that you're gonna be homeless soon. Leaves that part out completely because they don't want you coming to city council. They don't want you coming and talking to these 8 people, which is what I'm trying to get you guys to do. You can email and phone call every single one of these people, right? You just click their name and it'll say, here's their email. There's their personal cell phone number right there. And this is the person these 2 people right here, Scott Berna and Teresa Turk. Like, I mean, look, you can tell he already wants a dorm there. He doesn't care. He lives at West Mountain. Like, damn, look at that. Email this guy. Teresa Turk. She's a hard ass. Like, look at this. Look, like this guy's like, hey, here's me. And she's like, look at my issues. This is my deal. This woman loves data. And if you hit her with passion, you're going to lose. If you hit her with data, she will listen. Okay? You got to get to know your council members, right? Same with Mike. Yeah, he's got a California phone number. He doesn't have anything in his bio, but he's from California. He listens to data. He listens to sensibility. He listens to plans. He listens to action. He doesn't listen to like, I'm so mad at you. You know? Sarah Moore, she's a G. She's a normal person. Talk to her like a normal person. You know? You just got to get to know them. They're all just regular people. She owns a lot of real estate. She owns a lot of real estate. He owns a lot of real estate. And he owns a lot of real estate. So understand that too. Okay? Understand when... But they don't own these kinds of real estates. And you have to... Bo profiles these people like serial killers. I mean, I'm good at what I do, right? I'm an entertainer. I'm a host. I'm good at hospitality. And to do that, you give the people what they want, right? Yeah, thanks, Merle. Cheers. But my point is, and yeah, Skylar says, love Mike. Mike's one of those guys, you just got to get to know him. A lot of people don't like Mike. But if you understand where Mike comes from, and you understand, and that's where I think empathy is so important, because we're all different. Like, I know not everybody understands my world, you know, and I don't understand theirs. But if you can meet in the middle and you can learn from each other, and you can open each other's perspectives to your pain points and their pain points and what's challenging for them, because a lot of these people really do genuinely want to represent us, right? But we have to give them the ability to do so. We have to understand that they are just people, and that we can't just go, hey, go up in city council and vote no because I said so. It's not that easy, guys. That's why I didn't run, right? I didn't want to. As Andrea said, Mike is very reasonable, and Night Owl, Sarah Moore is awesome. Our council members are great. They're all cool people. Every last one of them has traits that I admire. Every single one of them. You know? And you just have to understand these people on a human level. And understand that they don't understand your position sometimes, and you have to make them understand. And it doesn't mean yelling, and it doesn't mean calling them stupid, and it doesn't mean calling them inept and inefficient. It means that maybe they just never had a life experience like yours. And if you can bring data like I'm bringing, if you can show them things like this letter that you got in the mail, that unless you know what this means, that you'll never know that this means you're about to get evicted. That just has a very, very convoluted description of a meeting that's happening on March 24th. You know, it nowhere does it say you're going to be homeless, start looking for another place. It says, maybe some utility work's happening. I don't know. It's probably going to be a good thing, right? It doesn't say anything bad. It doesn't say start looking for another place to live. It doesn't say let your employer know you may have to move away. It doesn't say that tell your kid he's going to go to another freaking school. It doesn't say any of that. It says 200-foot buffer. We sent a notice out by requirement of mayoral declaration, because that's all they had to do. They had to send a piece of paper with their contact information. That's it. That's it, and that's all. That's all you had to do. So I'm here to translate all that and to tell you to call these people, to let them know that this is not okay, and then that this is bad. And, and to also tell these council members, because here's the thing. bring up the parking reduction requirements. If there's anything that you take away from this live stream, put an asterisk next to parking reduction requirements in city code. Okay? They'll know what you're talking about because it's been swimming around a lot of their inboxes and their desks. But much like city council, they're very busy and they don't want to put it in front of council. But here's the thing about city council. Travis asked, did Tony's New York Pizza find a new location? No, they're done. Commercial real estate's too expensive, so they're just done. But here's what I want you to do is the parking reduction minimum. If you are confused about all that, you can rewind later and check out the beginning of the stream, or probably about 30 minutes ago. But they'll know what it is. It's something I've been working on with a lot of people, and it's Dee Dee says, I got a letter last week, so convoluted, and I think the mayoral declaration is trying to reference COVID. That letter is a do-over. Yeah, that letter is... It makes no sense. And all that letter is going, hey, there's a lot of stuff you don't understand, and we're not going to put it in here, but there's going to be a planning commission. I'm glad they put the date on it. I'm going to be out of town that week, so I'm going to have to zoom in because I'm going to a bar and restaurant conference out of town because I'm trying to freaking survive as a small business owner in this economy. But parking reduction requirements in city code, Melina, you did it. Asterisks all the way. They're working on it. Britain's working on it. There's things being drafted. And here's the thing. You can also include that you feel it needs to be an emergency addition to the ordinance. Keywords, emergency. And I'll tell you why. Because, I'll put on my council member hat. Because if something goes to city council, it takes 31 days to be enacted into city code. So let's say that everybody got all up in arms and we went to city council next Tuesday because city council meets on Tuesday. And they voted a parking reduction minimum requirement in on this Tuesday. Well, this Tuesday would be, let's take a look, it would be Tuesday the 11th. So it would be 31 days. So let's see, that's 7. It wouldn't be until April 8th until that particular ordinance went into effect, right? So if we were to do a parking reduction addendum to the ordinance tomorrow, it wouldn't go in effect until the 8th. But the Planning Commission for this is March 24th. Okay? Which means anything that they submitted before that ordinance changed, they would be grandfathered into the previous ordinance before it changed. So when I say emergency addition to the ordinance, when something goes to council as an emergency vote, then it takes effect the very next day. So if it went to council on March 11th, it would go into city code on March 12th. Meaning, on March 24th, if these monster developers tried to come in and go, here's the thing we're trying to approve, bulldoze these 89 families' homes so that we can build more dorms for single-room occupancy students, they wouldn't be able to. Well, they could, and here's where I go back to my asterisks using their predatory leasing practices against them. They totally could build that dorm, assuming they were able to do one-to-one parking parity for all of those single-room occupancy dwellings. That's where we get them, folks. We take the carrot away. Right now, there are two things that are happening. You know, you hear a lot of developers say that it is, quote, not profitable to build affordable housing, right? And it's not that it's not profitable. You can still make a profit, right? I make my living in the hospitality industry. It hasn't been profitable to sell Miller Lite in fucking 7 years, okay? But we've still been doing it. A lot of restaurants haven't been profitable selling steak or chicken wings in a long time because COVID and everything, the cost of goods have gone up. But what did we do? We just ate the margin. We ate it. We're like, well, let's sell more. Margin's going to get less. We still got a little bit of profit there. It's less than we were used to, but we'll make it work because we have to. These developers are not having the same problem, right? They're like, well, we could build affordable housing and it makes a little bit of profit, or we could build single-room occupancy student dorms near campus and totally screw up the economy in the next 8 years of the downtown environment because we can rent these out for $1,500 a room, and we're probably not even going to own it for more than a year. We're going to sell it to another company who's going to manage it, who's going to sell it to another company who's going to manage it, who's going to sell it to another company who's going to manage it. Most of these are on their 5th owner in like 7 years, right? That's a lot of money. So you can make a little money or you can make a lot of money. So it's not that it's not profitable to do this. It's just not as profitable to do this, right? So what we have to do through our zoning and regulations and our de-incentivizing of certain development types is to say this, because they get the 35% parking reduction, they don't have to build parking. They don't have to do all this stuff. So this is so much more expensive or profitable to build than this. If they had to start building all the parking to make this work, then the profit margins shrink, which makes this start to be a more profitable option. Does that make sense to anybody? Overall, it's less profit. I'm sorry, billionaires. But it's less profit for these Trinitas. And I say billionaires because look them up. We just have to craft incentives to encourage the developments we want to see that makes the overall growth and long-term longevity of our downtown more healthy. Because we're going to live here for the rest of our lives. They're not. They're going to build this because it's quick, it's easy, it's fast. They're going to build it and sell it, and then they're gone. Maxine's has been here for 75 years next week or 2 weeks. Hugo's has been here for 45 years. George's has been here for 1 billion years. These are people that want to continue to be here. You know, we're going to fight to be here. Why are we not incentivizing this kind of people that are encouraging this sort of development? De-incentivize these Trinitas assholes, you know? And we can do it because we grew the carrot that we're giving them. We can take it away. It's not state law. They can't lean back on a state code and go, oh my gosh, Sarah Huckabee, get your lobbyists to make the winners thing to go away because we want to make sure we charge $200 application fees as a secondary income with no margin. And they get to do it because that falls back on state law. But the parking reduction minimum does not fall on state law because that's a thing that the city of Fayetteville created, and we created it and we can take it away. Write your city council member. Andrew says, able to put community and small business over profit. Yes, because it's a long game. Jonathan Holder says, yes, makes total sense. Can this emergency parking be implemented in enough time? And that's where I don't know if you just joined us, but that's why it needs to be emergency, because the way that city ordinances work is if it goes to council, let's say tomorrow, the 11th, it won't go into effect for 31 days. If it's an emergency ordinance, so you have to get a city council member to bring it to council as an emergency vote, and if it gets passed as an emergency vote, it goes into effect the following day. 24-hour turnaround. So yes, it can get enacted immediately. Night Owl said, I met a family that bought real estate and developed here in California. They're coming here for profit and don't care. The guy just said it to my face. They think we're dumb. His words. Yes, I meet them all the time. They come into my bar and I talk to them because our zoning is antiquated and it did not anticipate any of this. It did not anticipate us being this gold rush. And here's the thing, if you even want to use a dumbass analogy like gold rush, what happened to all the gold mining towns? They're ghost towns. The moment that the resources dry up. How do we not see that? Right? Our real estate and all that is a resource. And they're coming in here and they're strip mining it for parts. And then when it's no longer profitable, they dip. Right? Meanwhile, all these people like us that have been sitting here making Fayetteville amazing forever, we're going to fight to make this place cool forever. And it's not that we're not pro-development. I don't mind a 7-story building. I really don't. As long as I can live there, or people that I know live there, my staff can live there, my regulars could live there. That's literally all I'm asking. Andrew says that's partially why Maxine's has survived, because she's been and the community been able to put small business over profit. That's what community's about, man. Let's see. The town has been so different since you left in 2017, says Amy. Came to visit in 2023 and didn't recognize it. Yeah, me either. Andrew says emergency declaration within the ordinance. It goes into effect immediately. Yes. So, Carl says everyone sees housing as a for-profit business, including individuals, not just big business. No, that's true, and that has happened. That's a very post-COVID phenomenon. Because if you notice, there was a concept that existed before COVID, like as recent as 2017, but the concept of a starter home. That's not even a word we use anymore. That word died, and it got replaced with investment property, because we don't get rid of our starter homes anymore. People are like, well, I've got this starter home. I'm going to go ahead and get another home. I'm going to keep this one and rent it out as passive income, because we all got obsessed with passive income, because passive income is this gleeful promise of not having to work but also getting paid, which is the new American dream. And it sounds rad, man. If I could show my hoo-ha on the internet and make $1 million, I might. Get ready, guys. Let's go. You're going to, let me be a millionaire. But no one wants to see that, so no, I can't do it. But passive income is the game now. And real estate is the easiest thing to do it. And so we have replaced starter homes with investment properties, and now everybody's scooping up investment properties because they're forcing a new group of what would have been first-time home buyers and forcing them into a rental situation, right? Melina says, I still want to start her home. I don't even need a second property, but as a single mom, it's impossible to find something Fayetteville is doable. It's impossible to find something anywhere right now that's in any sort of city, right? And there's a bigger problem that I see down the line that Britton and I were going to tackle last week, but we didn't get a chance to. And it was my prediction in the future that small business entrepreneurship is going to start tanking because people are not homeowners anymore. And traditional business loans in the past, I don't know, since business loans were created, was predicated on the sense that you would put up collateral to the bank so that they would loan you money to start your business. That collateral is, you guessed it, your home, because it was assumed that most people over the age of 25 were pursuing home ownership in some sense. But that hasn't been a thing in almost a decade now, right? The average home ownership in the United States, I think, was in like age 48 to 52 last time I checked, which is crazy, by the way. And so when you see that and you go, okay, well, if younger people are not homeowners and they're renters because we have developed a system that is forcing them to be renters, and then the system wants to tell you that the trends are that young people are renting more, and they make it sound like it's by choice, which it's not, it's by inevitability. The outcome that we're not looking at is the fact that young people that want to be entrepreneurial and startup-y and business savvy can't get business loans because they have no collateral, which I predict will create an even further requirement on everything going corporate, because we won't have the economic tools in place to loan young people money because they have absolutely no collateral. And as Merle says, the banks need to loosen up, and they won't. Why would they? They got all our money anyway. But what do I know? I'm just a dude that loves cocktails, man. Dude with 3 degrees, a lot of experience, that owns a business. It's been doing this shit for a long time. I do this because I love it. I do it because I love community. I could have moved away. I had so many opportunities to move away from Fayetteville. I could have made a career in LA. I could have gone to New York. I could have been a producer for Discovery Channel in Silver Springs, Maryland, because I was a producer for Discovery Channel here. And they offered me a job out there, and I turned it down because I love Fayetteville. And I wanted this to be my place. And it does get frustrating when I try, like, I know that people on the development side and the city planning side and the lawmaking side, they look at me and they go, I'm just a guy that throws good parties. And that's frustrating, man, because it was a choice I made. I chose Fayetteville. I could have done so much more, but I didn't want to, because this is where my people were, man. And you know, and then to be told, or just non-verbally told, and DeAndre, I know you know what I'm talking about. When you're discredited, like, you don't know what you're talking about because X, Y, and Z. And it's insulting, because it's like, we've done the work, we have the experience, we have the know-how, and we listen to people. How is that not being qualified? You know? And it goes back to the Worthington's Law skit from Mr. Show. And love you, DeAndre. But I don't know. Well, okay, here, DeAndre's in the chat. DeAndre is a council member. Shout outs to Dr. Jones. And the parking reduction requirement. I think I know it's been floating around. I don't know if it's gotten to your desk or not, but it's a plan I've been working on with Britton and Dee Dee and Jeremy from Specialized Real Estate. And I've ran it past I've Justin Clay from parking. I've ran it past a lot of people. And even Blake Pennington is like, yeah, we can't get sued from this. This is pretty bulletproof. And I think we need to enact this thing. And one of the things that I was saying, and DeAndre, since you're here, one of the deals that worries me is strategically, politically, if it just goes to council, it's going to take 31 days. But if it's an emergency vote, it goes in tomorrow. And DeAndre, since you're just now joining us, I want to show you this letter. This is a letter that showed up at my apartment complex that one of my neighbors sent to me. She's like, hey, Bo, can you translate this for me? And this is, I'm going to shout out to Lisa. She's the bar manager at Boca. She's a resident here. She's lived here a long time. She's over the age of 40. She's the bar manager at Boca. She's a lovely person, and she lives in my apartment complex, just like a lot of downtown residents do. There's no students that live there. We're all just working residents. She goes, Bo, what does this mean? And if you read this, it's just like, hey, we're McClellan Consulting. We're just letting you know about a buffer space. Here's the buffer. Just letting you know that there's a buffer. And here's a planning commission meeting if you want to just voice your opinion on the buffer. But because I dig and I know what's going on, I know this is a letter that'd be like, hey, we're about to bulldoze your place. And here's the planning commission about it. She didn't know what that means. And I'm like, get your ass to planning commission on March 24th. That's what it means. Because it means we're all going to be homeless. 70 some odd people that live there that are not students. The son and person that manages Wes's Barbecue on the Arkansas Food Hall of Fame, one of the first black-owned restaurants in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which also still great. The ribs are great, by the way. He lives in my building. Lisa, bar manager at Boca, lives in my building. Several of the bartenders at Geisinger live in my building. One of the employees that's what a downtown apartment should be. is people that work, live, and care about it. But we get this mysterious letter that says, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. But we're going to bulldoze your place. So, yeah, those ribs are fire. And the way that I think we need to fight this, and if you're just now joining me, DeAndre, is the parking reductions. I've been working with a lot of people to where we use the carrot that the city of Fayetteville created, which was the 35% by right parking reductions for downtown developments. And we put a rubric around it, because when that was created, it was created without the inkling that somebody was going to come in and build a 600 plus bedroom, 7-story student condo SRO for just dorms. Nobody saw that coming, right? But now that we see it coming, we need to adjust. And I feel like with an ordinance like this as a parking reduction, we can change this fast. And it's not going to affect state law. And if we decide that maybe it wasn't the best move, we can change it. We can go back, because it's a reward that we created, right? And all it really requires is just city council approval. So if we make it harder for these places that are building 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom, shared kitchens, single-room occupancy dorms, they don't get that parking reduction. If you go over 200 beds in a development, then you need to go to the rubric. And if you're going over that and you're only building 3 and 4 bedrooms, well, you got to figure out how to do 1-to-1 parking. But if you're doing 1 and 2 bedroom apartments that can be retrofitted down the future if we hit an enrollment cliff, or if other normal people wanted to live there and not have to move out and be reassigned 3 different roommates every Christmas break and summer break, then, what we could, give 1 and 2 bedrooms higher parking reductions. If you're going to actually build a whole entire first floor of commercial, a lot more parking reductions. But if you're going to just do the 700 square foot, no, you don't get parking reductions. If you're going to build 4 bedrooms, no, you don't get the parking reductions. You got to figure out how to park all those cars, which would then deter them in using their same rubric of leasing properties of you can live here if all these hard things we know you're not going to do. We just turn around and say you can build here if you do all these hard things we know you're not going to do. So, yeah. That's how we do it. Night Ashley asks, you guys doing the show tonight, or are you the show? I don't know. He's not here yet. So, I'm just sitting here. But Andrew says, I don't think a lot realize the apartments going up have the consequence of only being... And Andrew, you're right. And that's something that I said right at the beginning of the stream is... We're in a housing crisis. We all know that, right? But as I was talking to Britton Bostic, who's the head of long-range planning and special projects for the city of Fayetteville, she made a good point of saying, can't the mayor do something? No, she can't, actually. The mayor is kind of like the final, especially if there's an emergency vote, she has to abstain. That's a part of the politics process. And DeAndre, back me up if I'm wrong on that one. But if something went to go to emergency vote, she cannot be a tie. She has to abstain from voting. I think that's how the emergency clause vote goes. But the mayor can put her stamp on stuff, but she just can't decree it. She's, that's an unfortunate part about that. That means city council, it has to be a council deal. Moline says, this is the quality show too. They'll love being educated. Trey Marley says, pulling the parking reduction back would be the pause Fayetteville needs right now. Great plan, Plo. And here's the beauty of it, Trey, is the parking reduction would only apply to these if following the rubric, right? Because I talked to the guys from Specialized Real Estate, and in my research, none of their projects, none of these like thoughtful, responsible developments are over 200 beds. But these monster dorms are always well over 200 beds, right? So it would be this deterrent that says, we know that these people are going to come in. We're going to have this rubric kick in for these. But all of you guys that are still building like cool developments like South Yard and the new one that's going on Nelson Hackett, like you guys are building to the people that we need to be here. So we're going to continue to give you that credit. Like I don't want to take the parking credit away. We need the parking reductions to build responsibly downtown, because proper downtown infill requires parking reduction. And I truly believe that. And it wasn't until a conversation with Mike I had a while back where I thought about using parking as a strategic tool to discourage development that we don't want, because we do need parking reductions to make these things work. So DeAndre, we have been, and I'm going to have Britton reach out to you because there has been a plan. What's up, Jake? Jake just entered the chat. There is a plan that she has drafted that's been kicked back, I think, from Mike and Teresa, that I'll have her send to you. And it's cool. It's really cool. And if you haven't had a good read on it yet, I'm going to make sure you get a good read on it by the end of the week or by the end of the next day. Deal? Deal. We need to hear from those impacted directly. Yes. And as I'm sitting here saying, I know everybody hears from me a lot, like that letter that I sent you, that's impacting me directly. That's my house. And the development on Block and Dixon is approximately 250 yards from my business. So those are both impacting me directly. I mean, we showed up in force to the Planning Commission meeting last week to talk about how that one was going to affect us. And I know I don't know if you caught up on that Planning Commission meeting, but we'll go back and rewatch when the traffic study was brought up, because I sent a lot of emails to, actually, maybe I can pull up this email here that I sent to, let me see. I know, right? Because I did send parking study recommendations. Here, let me go over to my email here. All this technology. Hang on. I got 3 screens. Give me a second to find where my mouse is. Okay.
We need a mouse pad.
I know. So I sent these to the parking. There we go. Yeah, I sent all this stuff of notes that I think would be really, really great for people to take a look at. I was like, the parking reduction or traffic study that they did was, it said that there was Block was a 2-way street and there was intersections that weren't actually there. But I was like, and they only did the parking study during Christmas break when students were gone from at like 8 o'clock and then again at 4, but that's not our peak hours downtown. But then I also did a small traffic study and I forwarded that, and I was like, hey man, just because, and I sent this to everybody, I said, I went out and I counted in 10 minutes at that intersection, all the parking was full, and I counted 57 cars that passed in front of that intersection. And I sent that to them. And, I know that they weren't looking at any of that stuff. But I'm like, look, I just did. And in 10 minutes, almost 60 cars passed by. And there was a traffic jam in the intersection. And this was at a time that was not a part of the traffic study. And it was slow that night. Yeah, let's see. Town halls make a difference. Dee Dee, she requested 5 years of police calls at the off-campus dorms, and whoa. Dee Dee, I know you. I was trying to pull those up on my stream just a little while ago, and I couldn't find the email. If you could resend that to me, I wanted to post them and share them. And all the city codes do need. And DeAndre, I don't know if you know Sam, but Sam used to work for an architecture firm. He actually came to the last planning commission and spoke. Really smart guy, and he knows a lot about development and architecture. So thanks for tuning in, DeAndre. I appreciate you coming in. City council members right there, man. Sam Freddy, too much to take out at once. Need to start with the ones that have a greater impact first, or just enough staff to do emergency review, and that's a massive list. It is. Carl says, why is the way we do things in 2025? There has to be a new way, but if people aren't showing up, that's signal you guys a new system to engage your people. It needs to happen. There has to be so much change. Organize and come to council. Sanfra was told crazy stuff like residence is not a residence unless the owner lives there, allowing them to build as your. Yeah. I mean, it's because like when that stuff was written, no one thought about renting your house out. No one thought about Airbnb. No one thought about all these multi-use things that we now have. And the code was written so long ago that all these new factors are at play that don't apply to today. So, Anyway.
Something completely unrelated. Velvet Santa asked me what's cooler, a V-Rod or a Sportster 1200.
Velvet Santa just wanted to derail the conversation because that's what he's trying to do. And love you, bro, but when I'm on one, I'm just not reading your comments.
Short answer is I don't know. They're both small bikes. So.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here crying about getting a city change, and Velvet Santa comes in and goes, remember when RoboCop shot that dude in the dick? I'm like, okay. How about that new D&D? That pinball is tight, and I have it at Pinpoint. You can come play it. Okay. So, all right, guys. Well, this has been my... We have to... So, check this out. Why do I not have this on here? Oh, that's right, because... Boop. Where's my... I was supposed to have the driving speaker box overlay. Where's that? Huh. Main. Oh, yeah. Well, that's an old one. Look at this one. This one's so old. It has the old logos. Isn't that weird? Look at that one. And then we upgraded to that one. Yeah, I like it better. Thanks, Merle. See you in 3 minutes. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Just seriously, one last time. Message those city council members. Thank you so much for Councilmember Jones showing up in the chat. Like, that's how we do it, guys. That was an actual city. So for those of you that did not realize who that was in the chat, that was this guy right here. Ward 1, Position 2. Love that guy. And tuning in and listening to what we say. Like, right here in the chat even. And that's the thing that I want people to understand before I sign off, is that making decisions on a city level, a state level, and a national level is just a matter of being involved. These people are just people, and if you have relationships with these people, then you become a part of the process. You know, I'm just a dude sitting in front of 6 lava lamps and a life-size creature from the Black Lagoon statue that I had commissioned. Like, I'm just a goober. We're about to talk about movies, but I'm giving you a lot of information and a lot of passion, and we're connecting you to the dots of realistic change in the world that you want to be in. And it doesn't mean just turning your brain off and watching the next season of Reacher, even though it's really good. That's a part. You do that too. But go a step further and realize that these people are not untouchables. Talk to them, right? Talk to them. Communicate with them. Be a part of the narrative. And let's see. Sam Friday says, pick the low-hanging fruit first. Yes. Melina says, I know I needed this information, so mega thank you. You are welcome. Adding a tiny URL link for the police, FOIA. Or FIA. Yeah, thank you. Freedom of Information Act. Dee, thank you right there. That is a good one. Carl, just follow up on my comment. Why not city council podcasts, etc. Maybe our city should hire an influencer. That's a bigger one. That's what I'm trying to do literally with this. Andrew says, I got to take new mugs into Maxine's and eat popcorn for dinner. Thanks for the libo. My pleasure. Let's just make a change, man. Let's make the city the way this. This is how we keep Fayetteville funky, even though I don't like that bumper sticker. Let's make it something new. Let's make Fayetteville what it's always supposed to be. So we're going to deactivate this stream, but for those of you that are tuned in, we're going to be on the Drive-In Speaker Box, which has its own Facebook, a Twitch, and a YouTube. And we're about to go live. So we're going to be talking about Mickey 17. We're going to be talking about movies. I'm going to be drinking more brandy. And I need some water right now. And then Jake's going to... he's going to be engaged in what we're saying. Because he's like, I don't want to mess with none of this. So
that's partly true.
As Mark says, I'm just a dude dressed as a dude playing a dude. Thanks, Carl. So here we go. Logo cam right there. Thanks, Facebook. You know I'll be back.
It's easy to forget today, but before hip-hop had rappers, it was just beats.
We've lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with a few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Ooh, boy. Welcome to the drive-in speaker box, you guys. This is a movie show. We're going to talk about popcorn, and cinema, movies, and some rootin', tootin'. I don't know. We're going to talk about movies. I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I'm a very confused grip.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I've been on one, man. I've been talking for about an hour already on the live stream, and I'm fired up. I'm jazzed up because I got a letter in the mail saying my apartment's about to get demolished, and so I'm just like, let's burn it down.
Yeah, I mean, they've had that property bought for like almost a year now.
It's not actually bought.
Oh.
That's what I discovered. That's why I'm so fired up, man, is because right now we can still stop it. So if we band together and save the like place where we all like break into Electric Boogaloo, where we all like get together and
Thanks,
what's the song from Breakin'?
I know you're gonna get like the broom and you're gonna sweep them out of there.
Yeah, it's let's see, montage song. Wait, hang on.
It goes like this. Doot 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 doot.
That's like
doot 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 doot.
Yeah, here we go. No, that's still our song. We gotta get the miracles. But there's a better song that comes in miracles. It's like there's dancing on the ceiling, but I can't play that because that's that's a good one. No, there's ain't nobody, man, dude. God, Breakin' 2 is so good.
Fun fact about my life. if you ever catch me in a setting where there's alcohol as the primary form of entertainment, Ain't Nobody is my jam.
Yeah, hip hopping is a way of life, dude. I gotta turn that off before we get busted.
Thanks, not Allison.
But yeah, I mean, we got to band together like Breaking and save my apartment. Like that's the deal. Is like let's just save my apartment from getting destroyed. I'm gonna go home and watch Breaking and learn how Boogaloo Shrimp saved.
I mean, geez, they just
everything.
mowed down buildings that had been around since the 1800s so that they could build student housing with more beds than parking space, so that kids have to park a half a mile away from where they live.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the way it goes. And they're closing state parks. They're doing all the, they're about to saw down national forests, and I mean, it's we are in the worst timeline. Can we just where's Ashton? Can we butterfly effect this? Like, where is Bill S. Preston, S. Topwire, and Ted Theodore Logan?
You know
where
what?
Where is Marty McFly?
I read one time that the land mass of Texas is large enough that you could put a house.
All the Texas backs in it.
You could put a house for every American and still have room left, right? So why are they here? Get the Texans.
Get out of here,
the
Texas.
hell away from me. That's getting so far away from movies.
I know, but
There's movies
but
that
we're
are-
referencing it.
There's
We're-
movies that are cool about Texans, like Sam Houston with Sam Elliott playing Sam Houston. What's that movie called? I think it's called Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
It's a pretty good movie.
For those of you that are listening to the podcast at home, Merle over on Twitch just redeemed a Sam Elliott sip. So, cheers. Anyway, for those of you that tune in early, this is a movie podcast, and I usually show up really early and get on this thing and talk with you guys. And you can, Twitch is fun. You can redeem points that make me drink alcohol. You can just talk to us about all kinds of things. Mark Lander says, "Are the ducks in the duck pond endangered species?" I guess now they are. They've also been displaced. They don't come back anymore because Texas. There was a reason that Texas ran them off. I'm just blaming it on Texas. But yeah, it's bad news. The duck pond, they don't even have ducks anymore. Don't even have no ducks. No more ducks, man. They just migrated away because of Texas. But we're going to talk about movies. That's what we got to do.
Yep.
We both saw the same movie this week, which was rare. A lot of times we don't see the same movie.
We saw the same movie at the same time.
I know, in the same theater. We didn't sit together, though, because this guy likes to sit in the very back of the row in a handicap chair, taking away the handicap chair from, people with disabilities. It's I like the space. Screw those wheelchair people.
That's not what happens. I like to sit in the middle of the back row or the next to back row. But
he did accidentally buy the handicap chair.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You looked at it and you go, "Oh man."
No, I was seat 12.
And you said it was the handicap seat.
No, I thought it was because the handicap assistant seat was number 11. The handicap seat was number 10.
So you were the handicap assistant's assistant.
No. But the point of it is the seats I wanted were sold out because it was a popular movie.
So we went and saw Mickey 17.
We went and saw Mickey 17.
I sat on row D, seat 7.
There's no way I'm sitting that close to the screen.
It's in the middle.
No, but it's you can't.
No, that's why they have reclining
it.
seats. You just lean back and you're like, "Yeah, I'm there, dude."
Yeah, and you got someone with their toes in your face. I don't want that.
No, what kind of fetish theater do you go to, dude?
Dude. Some of those theaters at AMC, if you're leaned back and the person behind you is leaned back,
and there's also Sasquatch. Who has legs that long?
Me.
Well, how many of yous are in the theater?
I don't know. I don't get to.
They're not there, dude. Just because you have your toes in someone's face doesn't mean that someone else has got their toes in yours. You just try it, man. Just get in there sometime, and you'll be like, toe-free environment. I've never had toes in my face. This is the most irrational movie theater fear I've ever had. Toes in my face?
I don't want people talking behind me.
You don't want people behind you or around you or near you.
Yes.
Okay. Then let's just call a duck a duck.
The point is
you hate humanity and you wish they weren't in the theater, and also why didn't they turn on the surround sound? And
They did, didn't they, during the movie? Or was it front speaker the whole time? It wasn't front speaker the whole time.
They adjusted it. I went out and I said, hey, is the manager lady here? And they're like, what do you ask? And I go, because she knows who I am, and she knows that I'm not full of shit when I'm coming up here telling you what I'm about to tell you. And she came out, she's like, oh, hey, what's up? And I go, Theater 11, pretty sure the surround sound's not working. She goes, it's not. And I go, yeah, what's up? And she's like, well, that we need to have a technician come out and recalibrate it because when you activate it, you cannot hear the dialogue.
Why even schedule movies in that?
That's what I said. I'm like, don't put movies in Theater 11, even though Theater 11 is usually my favorite theater to be in.
Really? I don't like that little short row that I ended up sitting on.
That's because you always pick the handicap row.
No, dude.
You could have gone one more in front of you. Full row. Full able-bodied row. It's right there. It wasn't sold.
It was. Remember how we walked in the theater and the entire middle of that row was gone?
It didn't have
was full of people.
6 buffer seats that you need away from humanity.
I'm not going to sit all the way to the left or all the way to the right. That's going to drive me nuts, and I'll hate everything.
Well, they didn't credit us because we didn't ask for it. I'm sure if we'd asked for it, we would have gotten our free movie. But we're AMC anyway, so it's fine. AMC Plus. Wait, not Plus. We're A-list.
Yep. A-list.
So and I bought the. Where's my popcorn bucket?
Yeah,
right
middle
there.
seats are the best. You have to have middle seats.
Check that out. I got the monkey popcorn bucket, and I got double points on that SOB. So still haven't seen the monkey, but that popcorn bucket is cool. I don't know.
Cashed in all them credits you had. Dude.
I don't know if it's $47 cool, but I bought it either way. But anyway, we saw Mickey 17. We're going to talk to you about it later, but we're going to get in the news. We got to talk about news. I didn't read a whole lot of news because I was busy trying to save the town center or whatever.
Fun fact: there was not a lot of news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at all.
I mean, not that I was seeing at all.
Well, you're usually the one that has like the notes and the paper and the stuff. But now that I'm scrolling through it, I don't see any news either. I'm like scrolling back and it's like Oscar stuff.
Yeah. I mean, so that's what I'm saying.
Did nothing happen this week?
I mean, not really. There was some more information that came out about the Amazon and the James Bond thing where Jeff Bezos just lost his mind and was like throwing a big fit about getting people out of there and everything because he wanted to make James Bond TV shows. And the people that have been in charge of James Bond for like 5 or 6 decades were like, TV shows, really? What the hell is wrong with you? And he's like, I'm Jeff Bezos, and I can do whatever I want. Yeah, he's like, you get the hell out of here. Spend all the money to get rid of them. Yeah, do anything it takes to get rid of these people. I hate them. Before the whole Amazon takeover, and then there was an interview with Pierce Brosnan and stuff. We're like, oh, what do you think about this Amazon thing? And he's like, everything falls apart, dude. So he's like, I'm glad I was a part of the history of James Bond. He didn't say the words like before this happened, but he said like, yeah, he was happy he was a part of like real James Bond and not.
So speaking of controversial takes, I'm gonna drop this one on you, Jake. What do you think about Black Snape?
Black Snape?
Yeah.
Is that a thing that they've done for the TV show?
Yeah, dude.
More things that don't need to be a TV show?
So, yeah.
I think
Papa Asidou is
I don't
like,
know who Papa Asidou is.
Yeah, he's an up and comer. If we can throw that button in there, he's actually a talented dude. I've seen some of the stuff he does. Why we absolutely slept on Adam Driver as being Snape, I don't know.
I think that anyone who plays Snape is not going to
be Alan Rickman.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a very tough road ahead of them, and will have a severe lack of positive responses. I think by doing this, what they're doing is creating a scenario where they're like, if you don't like it, something's wrong with you. What's wrong with you that you don't like it, huh? Instead of everyone being like, no, Alan Rickman did it too well for us to ever accept anybody else as Snape, especially this early in the history of Harry Potter having been a thing.
It's not old enough to be aged out of things. Most of the people that were in that movie are still alive and well.
I mean, shit. Some people still didn't accept Gambon as Dumbledore.
It took like a couple movies.
Yeah, I mean, because he wasn't the original Dumbledore, and he wasn't the same as in the movies. And
he was still a crusty old
original
white guy.
Dumbledore.
And
I think anyone that plays Hagrid's going to have a hard time. I think anyone that plays any of the three are going to have a hard time. I think anyone that's going to be Cedric Diggory is going to not be looked well upon.
You can't. I mean,
Harry Potter was cast too perfectly the first time around with all of the right actors. I mean, there's no one else that can be Sirius Black, right?
Here's the best hot take that I've seen coming from the whole recasting of Snape that I was just like, yo, that's fire. Because again, everyone's like, oh, going to your point where they're going to make it like, well, we're going to cast this like, we're going to ethnicize this casting so you can't hate it. Someone said, hey, so did anybody think about, James Potter singling out and bullying to death the only black student at Hogwarts? Maybe not being a great move.
Dude, all of them.
And it's like
Sirius and Potter and
do we really need to turn this into like a race? Like, because if you go back into Snape's, he is singled out and bullied like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
and
Harry Potter's dad is going to be an extra big time butthole.
So not only is he a bully, but he's a
Lily
bigot.
never liked him because she's like, I'm just not into.
Dude, so like,
wow.
what kind of layers are you gonna add to that are not intended from the original story? I think
Vince's idea over here of Michael Shannon being Snape would be good because Michael Shannon can act the right amount of hateful on screen every time. He's so good at being like just a hateful character. But he can be a very kind person on screen too, and so that would be a good Snape.
I'm still on team Adam Driver, but Adam Driver would never do it.
Ever seen Michael Shannon do a British accent that I would say is believable that I can think of right now? But I don't know. I think that Harry Potter TV show is a bad idea.
I agree. No one wants this.
There's no actors that can step into the shoes of anyone that was a main or featured actor in any of those films, and someone would be like, yeah, this is actually more of what I was thinking. Like, it was all too well. And there's been so many interviews with the directors and producers and writers of these movies who have been like, yeah, I mean, the three kids were those characters. Like them themselves, their actual personage is that character as well.
It's like Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford. Like, that's what it is. It became that,
Yeah, or River Phoenix.
Yeah. But so some of the comments in Twitch just now, for those of you listening in the podcast, Velvet Senna was like, lucky for me, I could give two shits about Harry Potter. Never get it, never will. But dude, it's so good.
Listen,
you don't even like the fact that you don't get it means that you've never read it.
There's some things that, like movies and things that are easy to dislike or jump on a bandwagon of hate from afar, but once you actually try it, like, it's easy to look at Tom Cruise and be like, there's something wrong with this guy. I don't think I like him. And then you watch any of his movies, you're like, damn it, that guy can act. He's so
I don't know if
good.
he can act, but his movies are good.
Have you ever seen Rain Man?
Yeah, he wasn't the one doing all the acting.
Dude, I don't know about that.
I mean, I've seen.
You ever seen Tropic Thunder?
I've seen the collective body of work of Tom Cruise, and acting is not, but
dude, Tom Cruise is a good actor.
He is engaging on screen in a way that I cannot deny.
There's a lot of people that it's easy, like Matt Damon is a really good actor.
Agreed. I like Matt Damon.
But it's fun to watch like Team America and be like, Matt Damon. There's some of these things, and like Mission Impossible movies, we love them.
They're so good.
It's easy to be like, oh, those are probably super dumb.
But they're good.
No, but Harry Potter's another one where it's like you watch it from afar, you're like, oh, that's a dumb kid's movie. And that's how, like, the books, I never got into the books because I was too old, but the movies are
good.
Very accessible. They're so good.
So, anybody out there that's like, oh, I was always hating it forever. I mean, that's me in Titanic. Like, and I am a grown-up enough adult to acknowledge that my hatred for Titanic goes farther than Titanic contextually.
Titanic's a good ass movie.
No. Yeah, let me finish. Like, Titanic's a good ass movie. I hate it because of the cultural phenomena that it was and all the people that tried to force me to watch Titanic. Titanic, objectively, like, separated from all that, it's a good ass movie. It's good. I remember I saw it when it got re-released in the theaters, and I'm like, fuck, it is good. Because I wanted to be the guy with the epitaph on his tombstone that said, the guy that never saw Titanic. Like, that was like gonna be the thing that I died for. And I'm like, hell yeah, I don't want to be that guy. So I understand these people are like, no man, I'll forever. It's just like, you'll never watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated thing. You're just
Probably
like,
not.
no. Yeah, you're like, never. Not even gonna do it. Put a bullet to my face. Well, is it me or starving children in Africa? Fuck those kids. Kill me.
It's been long enough now that I really have to go out of my way to watch it, and it's just not like, I've never watched Avatar, talking James Cameron movies. I've seen little tiny pieces.
Avatar The Last Airbender or Avatar the Blue Na'vi bullshits?
Yes.
Both?
Yeah.
You've never seen any Avatar or anythings?
I've seen a few episodes of the cartoon. We've talked about that. But I've never seen the Avatar James Cameron movie, the whole thing. I've seen little tidbits.
If you were going to pick an Avatar...
I've watched Fern Gully so many fucking times.
Well, it's Fern Gully Pocahontas.
I've seen Pocahontas plenty of times.
Yeah.
I've watched these movies. I don't need to watch Avatar. But Titanic is... Billy Zane is so good. He's such a good butthole.
I got this baby. Lurk on Twitch just said, I kissed a chick at the Dixieland Mall watching Titanic. Met her at the skating rink. Boy, that's a story right there.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, if that didn't just date you.
Because, dude, as soon as that car got steamy and that hand slaps that window, you're like, hey, I mean, like, what's up? Dude, we've been sitting in this movie for 2.5 hours.
I mean...
Dude, yeah, Titanic's good, but Harry Potter is one of those things. It is very good. If you sit and watch it. Plus,
good.
the first two movies were done by Christopher Columbus, or Chris Columbus.
And they're good.
They're very good movies. And then Prisoner of Azkaban is so good. Dude. Gary Oldman. And you're like, dude, I want him to be my adoptive
and then
uncle.
you're just like, oh, let me just go ahead and get the guy who directed Children of Men, E2 Mama Tambien, and Gravity, and let's just, and maybe you heard about Pan's Labyrinth. Oh, let's just go ahead and put him in a Harry Potter in a directorial role. Bam.
Yeah.
That movie's so good. It's so good.
They're all so good.
I actually watched it 3 days ago.
Also, dude, by watching the Harry Potter movies, you can then play that the Hogwarts video game thing. That's just hella fun. Dude, watch Harry Potter. But being turned into a TV show and recast is just a dumbass idea. I dislike everything about that because it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It's too beloved. It's too universally beloved. It's
too soon.
It's too soon
because we just got off the tails of like 3 movies of Fantastic Beasts where Jude Law was Dumbledore for some reason, and they introduced another big bad like that. Here's my problem with Fantastic Beasts.
It was crap.
Well, there's that, but in the original Harry Potter movies, they're like, you've never encountered a wizard more awful, more earth-shattering, more devastating in the history of the wizarding world than he who shall not be named. And they did that for like 8 movies, right? Like 7 books.
Literal wizard Hitler.
And then like what? Within Dumbledore's timeline, there was a wizard Hitler.
Because Voldemort's like, wouldn't it be cool to be wizard Hitler and we just kill all of these like mudbloods and like non.
But they don't actually reference wizard Hitler at all. And Grindelwald is just like, kill them all. And
he's like, you guys, guess what? Germany is coming up with some great ideas, and we're gonna be homies with the Nazis.
And we're wizards,
like just straight up. So
and then meanwhile at Hogwarts, they're like, never happened.
Yeah, well,
and that's stupid. That's when you get movies, plot in like inefficiencies. You can't join those
movies.
Things
are poop garbage.
Yeah, they're not good.
But the mainline Harry Potter movies are good. Plus, they had the best of British talent brought
all
in.
Of it. Dude, I mean, Gary Oldman.
You have you got a Doctor Who in there. You got
the guy that played Mad-Eye Moody. Just didn't he get nominated for Academy Award?
Name? Dude, because he's awesome.
Yeah, he was just in the movie that got all the Academy Awards like 2 years ago.
Yeah, you can't do it. So I think no matter what they do, and that might just be them giving themselves some shielding as to being like, so that if you speak out against it, they can call you out on something maybe. So and I feel bad for that actor that he's put into that.
He doesn't deserve that, but also we don't deserve a TV show about Harry Potter. We don't need it. And if you're gonna do it, like, how about give me a Harry Potter show that is at the school with all the hot chicks with the little tulip hats, like, you know, like
the French school.
Yeah, let me watch that. Like,
or
you know,
the Romanian school.
Let's go there.
Where they have like the dragons. Yeah.
Like, I'd watch that. Don't take me back to Hogwarts. Don't want to go there. Show me more of this Wizarding World that I don't have to like reference with Dumbledores and recastings. But anyway,
yeah, or the American school. You could do it like.
Did they have one?
Yep. There's like it was set up by like the power of like river snakes and all that. If you go to Pottermore, you can find out which of the houses of the American school you belong to too.
Where is that lore based? That's not in a book. I read all the books. It
might be in a book. So it's not in one of the It's not one of the 7 Harry Potter books. But Rowling.
So do you know your American house?
I don't remember what it was, but I can log into Pottermore and find out. They're all like, because I was like, what the hell is this? And then you have to read about it. But I'm straight up Gryffindor, dog.
I'm Ravenclaw. I mean, I think that checks out.
Nerd.
Jock.
Nah, man. Gryffindor or the
Gryffindors were
boys.
They were the frat guys of Hogwarts. Anyway, okay.
The only other thing in the news worth talking about is that more things that don't need to exist. Sony will be releasing the Resident Evil reboot next September. I've already been thinking about Resident Evil too much now that Mia Jovovich movie's in theaters right now, and I don't want to think about Resident Evil anymore. Oh, and Justin Lin has been brought on to direct the Berserker movie based on Keanu Reeves' comic book starring Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever read any of this. He's basically that DC villain, the guy who was like a caveman, and then like a meteor or comet hit, and he got superpowers, and he just lives for forever. You know,
I don't know this
or
one.
like the Emperor of Mankind from Warhammer 40K.
Wait, wasn't that like wasn't he like a villain?
Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage, yeah.
Yeah. So Berserker is basically the Emperor of Mankind from 40K or Vandal Savage kind of thing, where his parents did a spell and it birthed him, and he's an immortal that lives through all time, and he was created as a way to protect this tribe from this attacking tribe. So like the Emperor of Mankind from 40K, he was created through magic of these people, but like Vandal Savage, he's mostly a normal man but just completely invulnerable and immortal. And so he's become a tool in modern day of the U.S. government to go in and like punch people that need to be punched.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's a comic book created by Keanu Reeves, character designed to look like Keanu Reeves, and now a movie that's certain to be played by him, because when it's created and designed to be him, who could it be played by but him himself? So, but Justin Lin will be directing that one. I've read the first graphic novel. I think I need to go get the second one because I saw it out not that long ago. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not the most unique idea in the world, but it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Well, we need to talk about what's coming out in theaters this week, because it's that time. Okay. So, we're gonna give you those new releases.
How long did we talk about Harry Potter?
Like 10 minutes. It's not long enough. Where's our wand? It's up there somewhere.
Oh, my Elder Wand?
You've got Dumbledore's wand.
Where is my Elder Wand?
It's down there somewhere. I have Sirius Black's wand because right now I have the Sirius Black beard and haircut. So I feel like a girl in the mall's dog. Well, actually, it was Night Owlishly, who was a viewer on Twitch. No, it wasn't Night Owlishly. It was another my friend Nicole, her daughter. I ran into them at Dillard's. And as I was leaving, Nicole texted me. She's like, my daughter didn't want to say this, but she says you look like Sirius Black. And I was
cool.
like, hell yeah, dude. I'll take that.
You know what? You know another good thing?
Harry, come live with me, Harry.
Yeah, Padfoot and Mooney's redemption from being high school bully butthole boys to being like the uncles that Harry Potter needed to have. That's good stuff.
That is good stuff. And badass aurors. Like, you know.
They weren't aurors.
Yeah,
Sirius Black was a fugitive until he died.
Well, no, they
And
were like holding out, and the house that they lived in became the like Auror HQ.
Not Padfoot and Mooney, because Mooney was a werewolf man who was a professor guy.
Yeah, but then the house that had that became the RHQ, like
when Harry Potter became an Auror.
Yeah,
For like
that's where they would all meet up, is in like Sirius's old crib.
for the shitty child. What's that called?
The Half-Blood Prince, or
No.
the other one.
The,
All right, we
the
got
post Harry Potter. It doesn't matter.
We got to talk about some movies that are coming out this week, not movies that came out
You
10
look
years
like
ago. But this week, coming out in theaters this week, we've got a handful of movies. The new Steven Soderbergh movie, he has been a busy bee this past year. Michael Fassbender, Cate Blanchett in a new spy thriller called Black Bag. I saw 1,000,001 trailers for this a few months ago, but I haven't seen trailers for it recently, which is weird because it's just about to come out. But it's about an intelligent agent who is suspected of betraying the nation. Her husband, who is also like a super legendary agent, has to face the ultimate test of whether to be loyal to his marriage or his country.
It's Mr. and Mrs. Smith, except they know that they're spies.
Yeah. And then they know that they're against each other.
Yeah, because
because
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like, they didn't know that the other one, they were so good at being spies, they didn't know the other one was a spy until it was time to kill each other. And this
Did you watch the one with like the reversion with
the TV show or whatever?
Yeah, with like Childish Gambino.
No, sure didn't.
It's all right. It's
why
pretty
would I
good.
do that?
It's pretty good.
I didn't like the movie. Why? No.
I mean, it's pretty good. The show was pretty good. And they die at the end, which was actually kind of cool. So they're like, let's wrap this shit up. That movie is coming out in theaters this week. Also coming out from Mark Anthony Green. It is Opus from A24, starring Ayo Edebiri. I can't pronounce her last name. Edebiri. She's been in a ton of stuff lately. She's really cool. I don't know if you remember some of the stuff that she's been in, but she's just been in a lot of cool stuff. I'm trying, Mulligan, Inside Out 2. She was in that. Everybody Hates Chris. She was in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. She's been in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse as a verse.
Who's she in Everybody Hates Chris?
She was
Just in like a couple episodes?
Yeah, she's just been in multiple voices, but I've seen her in lots of stuff. She's pretty cool. I think it's going to be a weird one. It's A24. You got John Malkovich in this one, Juliette Lewis in this one as well. It is just an odd pop star returning after being gone for decades. The trailer is kind of ambiguous, as most A24 trailers tend to be, but interesting cast. We'll see. I mean, it's A24. What are you going to do? Also coming out in theaters this weekend, a Novocaine, which I'm tired. I'm tired of this trailer. I'm so tired of this trailer. And I never thought that I'd be tired of seeing Jack Quaid. I liked seeing Jack Quaid in the Boys. You're like, oh, who's this new fresh face? That's the son of two very famous Hollywood actors. Come on the scene, and he was pretty cool. And then you got some other people, Matt Walsh, Jacob Batalon, who looks so much more thuggy from his original. Like, he looks like such a badass now, considering he was just the like a squeaky happy kid in Spider-Man.
When he still looks.
Now he kind of looks like
he still looks like that.
A chubby rock. But anyway, this movie is coming out. It's about this guy who is incapable of feeling physical pain and turns this condition into sort of a superpower to rescue her, which somehow also sort of forgets the fact that pain does not trump out the concept of organ failure or bone breakage or nerve damage. Like you can still get stabbed and die. I mean, if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't mean you get to just keep walking around and doing stuff.
Yeah, like when he shoves his hand into a deep fryer that's very clearly early in the story of the movie. Yeah, even though he can't have the pain, he's not going to be able to use his hand.
Yeah, I mean, your hand is like now cooked and swollen, and you're not going to be able to like use a keyboard or drive a car. And this movie, I think, like, I don't know how it's going to suspend our disbelief of being able to understand how the human body works, because it's not a superhero movie, because he doesn't have a superpower. He just can't feel pain. I don't know. It looks like a dark comedy of errors that when I first saw the trailer, I was like, interesting. Seen way too many trailers for it. Not excited about it anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'll probably end up seeing it. We'll tell you about it, but it's coming out this weekend. Last but not least, not the Looney Tunes movie we wanted, but the Looney Tunes movie that we're getting. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. It's about Porky and Daffy, our Earth's only hope when facing the threat of an alien invasion. It does look fun. It looks, I mean, I like Looney Tunes. I like the characters. I actually really like the animation style, but I also really lament the fact that I'm not getting my Wile E. Coyote movie. That's what I wanted. I wanted Wile E. Coyote versus Acme. That's what I wanted. I don't want this. And there's no Marvin the Martian in the trailer. And if there's no Marvin the Martian in the movie, then I think that it's a completely wasted opportunity. But I don't know. It could be fun. I like Looney Tunes. It's weird to see them try to like retranslate Looney Tunes to a modern audience about every decade. You know, in the 90s, they were like Tiny Toons.
Oh, but Tiny Toons is so good.
No, Tiny Toons was good. And generally, they nail it. And then there was like Space Jam, and Space Jam nailed it. And then it's been a minute since we've had like an actual Looney. Space Jam 2 didn't really hit.
It works.
We were just watching a little clip, and it looks funny. Mark Lander said, if we learned one thing from Roadhouse, it's that pain don't hurt. It's true, pain don't hurt. So I don't know. I'll probably see the Looney Tunes movie. It's rated PG, which I'm not a fan of. At least give me a PG-13. Like,
it's Looney Tunes, bro.
Well, but that's my point. Is when's the last time like an 8-year-old was excited about Looney Tunes? Like, everybody that loves Looney Tunes is probably grown up. That's why Space Jam worked, is because Space Jam was grown-up Looney Tunes.
Yeah, but Space Jam's timeless.
So Velvet Santa on Twitch says Spaceballs was PG.
That was at a different time.
That was a different PG. That was a PG where like Goonies could have a dick upside down, and then Mikey could go, but that's my mom's favorite part. Yeah. And it's still.
Yeah, I mean, you put Joan Rivers in any kind of movie, there's no way it can stay PG. That was at a different time. One of those Space Jams.
Oh, Vince on Twitch says, is Jake one of those Space Jam is good people?
Yeah, dude. Space Jam is good.
The first Space Jam is pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
What's wrong with Space Jam?
Yeah. Welcome to the jam. If you want a jam. Yeah, the Monstars. Like, let's see.
Yeah, dude, Danny DeVito, and you had Bill Murray doing some real quality acting there.
Here we go. Let's just hit him with one of these. Here we go. I thought that was, wait, that's not right. Where's the one that I was trying to get?
I don't know what you're...
It was supposed to be a Space Jam MIDI, but that was terrible.
Yeah, Wayne Knight is in it as like the guy that's obsessed with keeping Michael Jordan happy.
What is this?
Dude, I do not know, but I hate every part of it. I wish you would not do that.
Somebody must have like messed this up because I wanted Space Jam.
The only thing bad about Space Jam is that it gave the internet Lola Bunny.
Dude. There it is.
Dude, this will definitely get us shut down. Okay.
Then we do this for like a second, and then we do...
Dude, I don't know that that's how it works.
Yeah, it is. And then you give it like a second for like another second, and then you you gotta wait for the algorithm to...
That's not how it works.
I don't know. Maybe it is how it works. Maybe the algorithm doesn't know. Maybe the algorithm doesn't know how to throw its hands in the air. And maybe the algorithm doesn't know how to take it into overdrive.
I've never met anyone that hates the Goonies and Space Jam. I just don't understand.
I'm just saying that the Space Jam theme song, Quad City DJs.
Vince, you are a unique character, man.
Merle on Twitch says Last Action Hero had the F-bomb and it was PG-13. Not sure if that's still a thing.
Yeah, but that movie sucks.
No,
that movie's garbage. We argue about this.
I'm gonna put the wall up on that one, and
that's
I'm not gonna engage on that one. But I am gonna say that PG-13 still to this day allows you one F-bomb. You get one, and there are certain movies that will use it. I can't remember. There was a movie. I wish I could remember it, but it broke the fourth wall to like use the F-bomb.
Vince, it'd be pretty funny.
Vince says, I will get some satisfaction if you get a copyright strike because of all the Space Jam. We'll see. Oh, I didn't have it on deck. Damn, I was just gonna hit with some more Space Jam. Okay, well, we need to talk about Mickey 17 because we're out of time. We took this whole show talking about Harry Potter and all kinds of insane shit. But let's talk about Mickey 17. Mickey 17 is in movie theaters right now. It is out there. We are. I don't think this is going to do very well at the box office. This is just my estimations here of this movie. I think we might get a little bit of early adopters being like, "Hey, this is cool." But I don't know about you. Like when I was walking out of the theater and I was listening to what everybody said, everybody came out of that theater confused. And
if plot holes and unanswered questions are going to just bug the hell out of you, maybe step away from this one. It is full of inexplicable things and plot holes and questions that will never be answered. But
I don't think those were supposed to be answered. That's my deal, though.
Well, the main thing is that everyone. So the main character applies to be an expendable so that he can get off world. Because he has someone after him, and that's his way off, because he's not particularly skilled or intelligent in any way. So his one way of being able to get off of the planet and away from the loan shark is he applies to be an expendable, which they create a clone of every time he dies and push him out of a 3D printer just to start the day anew and be expended once again. On this journey to another planet. But the whole thing is everyone he encounters has the same question, which is, what does it feel like to die? Because he's gone through it 16 times prior to Mickey 17. And yet he remembers somehow, which doesn't make sense.
Up to the point of death.
No, because he's like, I'm scared of it every time, and it feels like this. And he's like, it's going to be different for her. His memories are uploaded into a computer. They don't have his memories of when he dies. So how is it that
does he remember
that? So there's giant unanswered plot hole questions like that occur throughout the entirety of the movie. But it does not stop it from being
endearing
an
entertaining
movie. Yeah, I mean it's.
So, I feel like a lot of Bong Joon-ho's movies, he, slides a shitload of social commentary into his movies that, everybody's like, well, Parasite wasn't political. That was extremely political, especially if you don't live in America. Snowpiercer is, again, dystopian future about like, caste system and money and rich people versus poor people. Oakjaw, we don't have to get into all of them, but yes, he loves doing a lot of social commentary, and Mickey 17 is very much chock full of social commentary about colonialization. I mean, I've never seen a better performance of Space Trump than I did with Mark Ruffalo and his teeth and his it was
the veneers and everything helped make it.
And there's a lot of parallels in this movie to what's going on with the division of, and that's something that Bong Joon-ho Bong Joon-ho loves to explore in his movies, is the separation of wealthy versus poor. Like, that's something that is in most of his movies, is the different life experience of the people that can't sympathize with what it's like to be at the bottom of the totem pole, and vice versa. And, this movie is no different. Like, Mickey is this character that accidentally gets to be at the absolute bottom of the bottomest of totem poles, to the point where he's dehumanized by everyone. And, this dehumanization that everybody around him looks at because they know that he's quote unquote expendable. They stop looking at him like a human.
They just start using him as a
tool.
A tool, yeah. And Velvet Santa asks, is it like Wei Yun from DS9? A little bit.
A little bit.
And Mark Ruffalo is definitely a liquid person.
And the exploring this idea that there are the worker class, there is the wealthy class, but then there's somebody even below that you can make the analogy that a lot of people in modern capitalism will say, like, our service industry people, or our people that work in utilities or trash, or like road workers. They don't think of them as real people, like the people that make our food, or farmers. There's these tools, and you can't sympathize with them when you try. You're just like, whatever, they're expendable. And so what happens when one of these people becomes indispensable, and there's a lot of ideas that I think that this movie tried to tackle that were really big, but because it's like a big science fiction-y, like, razzle dazzle, a lot of these big heavy ideas that science fiction is usually good about tackling kind of get lost in the sauce, because I think he was trying to tackle too many at once. There's the reincarnation, the concept of soul, the reprinting, and what does death actually mean? There's so many things that he's trying to touch on, but he never grabs one and really runs with it, because you just get lost in these amazing performances. Robert Pattinson, Jesus, like, acting beside himself and killing it. Like, I've not seen that good of a clone role since Michael Keaton and Multiplicity.
Yeah, 17 and 18. So somewhere in the movie, Mickey 17, is he remains alive, and he's presumed dead. So they just go ahead and print out 18, which has a vastly different personality, and he makes them two incredibly distinct people.
So extremely different performances, and they share the screen a lot. And it's not like we've ever seen or never seen movies where two people are playing two different versions of themselves on the same screen. You see it all the time. We saw it in Sonic 3, and Jim Carrey even made a joke of it. He's like, it's like two people playing the same, different characters at once, and he made a joke. And Multiplicity, again, as I think the closest reference point that I can make, that there was like different duplicates that all had different personalities. Each one made it, whatever. But Robert Pattinson absolutely killed it. And, again, I've said it before, but Steven Yeun, like, holy crap.
He's really good at being a turd.
He's really good at acting. Like, he's really good at being awesome. Like, I mean, can you remember, what was he in, like, Walking Dead? Mm-hmm. And he was like the golden boy. And he is so good at playing the goal, and he's invincible. He's invincible, and you love him as Mark.
Yeah.
But he is also really good at playing an absolute turd. And I think that we have so many more years of seeing amazing performances out of both Stephen Yeun and Robert Pattinson. You know, Mark Ruffalo, like I said, fantastic. Seeing him do, and Toni Collette, she's awesome.
Oh yeah, she's really good at being a fucking turd.
Crazy turd.
She's done a handful of movies where she's just the biggest butthole in the world, like Knives Out.
Oh man.
And this.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely great. But then I was also really surprised at Naomi Ackie. Like I didn't watch a lot of the Star Wars. I didn't notice her in the Star Wars movie that she was in.
That was because she was at the very end. She rode the horses on the spaceship.
Yes,
and it was super dumb. She was in that TV show. What's the TV show?
I didn't see the TV show.
She's like a psychopath,
But,
like lady.
Into the effing world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, this is so different from that character.
But where I really noticed her as a performer was in Blink Twice, and she just stole the show in Blink Twice, and her performance in this was also just great. The casting was great, and I think that, you know, the dystopian future setting is one that a lot of people have a difficult time like really wrapping their brains around. I think as general casual audiences will watch movies like this and they expect a Star Wars or a Star Trek or something like this, and when you see a deep science fiction movie that deals in just very human stories, it confuses a lot of people. And I hate that, because there's a lot of cool stories to be told. That's why we don't get a lot of good cyberpunk stuff, is because cyberpunk is like super far in the future, but minus the technology. It's there, but it's like fucked us all up. But I thought this was good, and I would recommend this to any of my friends. Like I think that anybody that watches the show or enjoys, you know, interesting movies would probably really enjoy Mickey 17. Is it going to be the most like amazing, like thought-provoking film in the planet? No, absolutely not. But I thought it was a really good science fiction film in a time where we just don't get many. Like all the science fiction movies we get are like, it would be like Robert Pattinson putting a cassette tape in a spaceship and playing like Journey and then shooting aliens and saving the world. Yeah. And it's like, fuck that.
It's a low-tech sci-fi too, you know, but it's good. It's an enjoyable movie. Robert Pattinson does a really good job of being 17 and 18, and yeah, it's fun. But
it's very relevant to today.
Like I said, I mean, if you are one that's going to question things, it might drive you a little up the wall.
There are some plot holes. But if you're, you know...
Because why would everyone just not use the human... Why would everyone not have a backup of themselves saved?
Well, they did that. They proved that. They were like, we know that it's bad. It was just like they did in that show on Netflix that I liked until Mackie came in the role and ruined it in season 2. Which is
one that had a new RoboCop.
Yeah, that movie was great. Or TV show was great. But Velvet Santa says, does it feel like a sci-fi channel? No, it's a standalone movie. It's really good. Vince says, so you liked it, but it's not going to be a huge crowd pleaser. Yeah, I thought it was great.
And the alien design is fun. It's like if Starship Troopers had roly-polies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the brain suckers didn't kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Mickey 17, go see it. Go see it. You know, go support this movie. I think it's a great movie that's different than anything that's out right now. I mean, if you think about what's in the box office right now, you've got Captain America, Mufasa, Paddington, The Monkey, Night of the Apocalypse, Hard Eyes. Like, it's all these dumbass movies about the same shit that we've seen, and then like Mickey 17 is something new. So yeah, I would say check it out. So with that, do you want to get into the box office? You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right,
Let's do it.
Jake's going to give you the top 10 movies in America, starting from number 10, going up to number 1, from March 7th through March 9th, 2025. And number 10.
Actually, number 16, real quick, because this is one I wanted to see, but we only had one showing.
It came out last week.
I'm going to try and find it and watch it if I can. Queen of the Ring. I know that Velvet Santa would want to see it for sure, too. It made $380,000, so that's tough to hear. But that is something that I'm going to try and find and watch soon if I can before it leaves the theater. And then at number 10, In the Lost Lands, opening at the 10 spot, just over $1 million.
That's rough because they threw Dave Bautista, Mia Jovovich, George R.R. Martin's name at this, and it debuted in the stinker.
Yeah. I think it had like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
Now I want to see it now.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that didn't have the advertising. It just didn't have the appeal. Yeah, it looks like a made for Sci-Fi Channel movie. Number 9, Rule Breakers, opening at number 9. That one's an Angel Studios movie.
I couldn't believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. It also brought in $1.5 million. And then holding strong in the top 10, Mufasa the Lion King, 12 weeks in, another 1.6, bring it to $250 million in the U.S., $462 million elsewhere, bringing it to $713 million total. Number 7, Anora, climbing from the number 22 spot because of Oscars.
And it jumped into an extra 1,000 theaters.
And I think people found out you get to see naked in it. So 21 weeks out. Brought another 1.8 million, so 18.4 in the U.S., 28 and a quarter elsewhere, so just under 47 million for Anora. But yeah, boobies and Oscars, I think, has dragged people to the theater. And then at number 6, Dogman, 6 weeks out, $3.4 million brought in for that one, 88.6 so far here in the States. Another 31
I'm surprised,
elsewhere. Yeah. So 120 million for that Dav Pilkey movie there. And then at number 4, Paddington in Peru, 4 weeks in. Still brought in 3.7 million, bringing it up to just under 37 million in the U.S. But $139
shout out to
million
Europe, who loves Paddington.
Well, so like Paddington and the newest Bridget Jones, neither one got advertising here in the U.S. They just threw it at us. But Paddington's, I don't know if Bridget Jones got released in the U.S., the newest one.
I don't know.
But it's out there elsewhere in the world. And then at number 4, The Monkey. Just under $4 million for that one, bringing it up to $31 million in its 3 weeks out. Another 14.7 elsewhere in the world. So just under 50 million so far. I've heard that this movie is a very funny horror movie.
Yeah, so did I. Like somebody in their review said that the comedy just got so over the top by the end that they couldn't take it seriously. And I'm like, well, that actually sounds kind of cool.
Sounds very Stephen King. Mm-hmm. Sometimes movies start out as a comedy and then will shatter your life forever looking at you, Langoliers. And then other times, they go the other way. Or sometimes it's just kind of a dark comedy all the way through, like whichever version of
Hand me that monkey.
What's the other name for Trucks? Because it was released under 3 different names.
Look at this is probably the most robust.
That was heavy.
It's an actual like metal, like this is robust, and it like I don't know how to get the popcorn in. Like, oh wait, maybe it's
just like that.
Yeah, and the monkey's like, and I mean he's heavy. Like this is a real deal. It's the AMC. I mean it's thick. Like when they told me it was like $45, I was like, oh god no. But then I picked it up and I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just.
Or like Stephen King, start well and have a bad ending. Yeah, that's true too. Maximum Overdrive. Thanks, Velvet Santa. But then coming up above the monkey at number 3, the Last Breath. 4 million brought in by that one. 2 weeks out, only 14.5 million. That one's tough for
yikes.
Big names on that. And then dropping the top spot, going down to number 2, Captain America, Brave New World. 1 month in, another 8.4 million, bringing it up to 176.5, 194.5 elsewhere. So 371 million for that one. But then taking the top spot, opening to 19 million. Mickey 17. Another 24.7 elsewhere.
did okay.
So it's made almost 44 million in its first week.
Not a
being
huge
out, so-
release, but not bad for being kind of a offbeat, oddball little science fiction movie. I mean, it outperformed Captain America by almost $10 million, so that's no small feat. Even though Captain America's been out for 4 weeks, but still 4 weeks. You know, with a Marvel movie, it should be more than that. But that's why Marvel sucks, and hopefully we get less of them. So, yeah, thanks, Vince. But anyway, all right. Well, that's about it, guys. We're that's the show. We're done. We did the roundup. We did all the things. And thanks for tuning in. If you guys are just tuning into the podcast, thank you for subscribing as the train passes by in the background. But if you want to like and subscribe, get into the live stream here, you can do it on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. You can just go to our link tree at driveinspeakerbox.com, follow wherever it is you like to follow, or just download the podcast at your convenience. You could tell your smart speaker to play the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast. Happy March 10th. Happy Martin Day, says DJ Merle on Twitch. Carl says, LOL. Yeah, imagine a world where you get removed for saying that. Yeah, no joke. Super Mario Brothers 3 is the GOAT. True life. Mario Day. It is, I guess, yeah, that's today. And then Pi Day is in a couple days as well. 3.314. So.
And then Stone Cold Day after that.
Dang.
316.
316, okay. Well, all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, share, tell your friends, follow us on Discord, do all the things. And, yeah, I guess we will just see you next week, yeah?
See you then.
All right. Bye.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.